Let's talk a little bit more about that money. So you and your leader are asking us to take you seriously as a party of government. Your leader in his speech this week said that partly his massive programme of tax cuts will be financed by ending the 45 billion of annual spending on net zero. Where does that figure come from?
So the 45 billion is a total function of a number of factors. So the amount of money that is inside government budgets explicitly that can be cited directly from official sources is north of 12 billion, probably closer to 14 billion. Then you have, for example, the lost revenue to the exchequer, for example, in terms of fuel duties, right? So we've got the intervention into private markets and the subsidies on electric vehicles. Nothing wrong. I actually like Teslas, but the reality is we do not think the government should be accelerating the rollout of electric cars much more.
But these are just lies, though. Okay? These numbers that they have, right? Everything that they're talking about, they're preaching, oh my God, there's so much money on net zero every year. It's just the overall investment it would take. It's not actually how much the government would actually spend on net zero. That's the problem. Because obviously net zero is going to attract independent and private investors. So they've also taken that into consideration. It's like, why would you ever criticize the government spending by including the private sector spending on the program? Like, it makes no sense. The net cost over 30 years is around 40 to 50 billion, around that mark. But obviously they make a huge claim, the overall spend. It's like, the overall spending is one thing, but the cost is going to take on the government is another thing, because there will also be other investors alongside the government.
Much more quickly than private citizens want to buy them. The total cost of that is probably actually north of 45 billion.
The OBR has said that by 2050, government spending on net zero would be 10 billion a year, accounting for savings. Exactly. So where's the other 35 billion coming from?
So there's a climate commission report from about 4 years ago, right? And that does talk about a number much bigger than that.
Well, since you mentioned that, wait. The climate, you bring up
never.
The climate change committee
of this. The climate change committee waved through without a vote.
The climate change committee says net zero will require investment of 26 billion a year, 2/3 of which will be provided by the private sector. That's got nothing to do with the government. So I ask you again, where has this 45 billion figure come from? Is it just plucked out of thin air?
No. 45 billion a year. That's just not the case. It's from now until 2050, it's going to be around 40 to 50 billion. Like, this idea that you can just add up every single number that makes up an investment. This is reform right here, right? Misinformation, trying to gain political gains, everything like that. This is just what they do. They mismanage numbers to be able to further the narrative. That's what they do. It's just not the case. It literally isn't.
Nigel Farage's most fetid dreams.
No, as I said. So number one, a lot of these bodies have a vested interest in a lot of this stuff because, and I'm not even criticising them.
The OBR.
Because
What's OBR
as some of the ministers who were in power at that time have admitted, this insane net zero target was waved through Parliament without any scrutiny.
Sure. So now people are not doing okay. Damn, wow. So it's changed from the amount of numbers that it actually is that's going to take to invest. Now it's like, no. These people that are actually bringing up these numbers, you can't actually trust what they say, because they're already criticizing. It's like, bro, they can't make it
scrambled afterwards to try to justify it. The reality is, Lewis, here's the really important point about all of this. The true cost of net zero to this country is not only the enormous amount of money that it's costing the taxpayer directly from government budgets, it's the £300 per household per year that has come in the form of subsidies that people listening to this programme are paying in their energy bills. And the UK, astonishingly, has the most expensive energy costs in the world.
Yes,
and again, everybody listening to your show, regardless of their political persuasion, is terrified of opening their energy bill because it only ever seems to skyrocket.
You've also cited 7 billion of savings from DEI initiatives. Now, where's that figure come from?
So that is from an independent think tank, and I'll tweet that out at the conclusion of the show.
Right, okay, because government figures show that actual spending on DEI is £27 million. So where's the other 6.9 billion come from?
Do you think the government might have an agenda to potentially not be fully transparent about where some of this...
Oh my God. Yeah, that's it right there. Okay, the moment you start to say, the government, you can actually trust what they say because, they have initiative, they have reasons to try to underplay how much they're spending. But the funny thing is, the ironic part is, you, as someone that's opposing the current government, you have all the initiative, you have all the incentive to also lie about how much the government is spending. They have an initiative to reduce how much they're actually spending, but you also have an initiative to overestimate how much they're spending. So that incentive isn't just one place, it's both sides. So I guess we can't trust you as well then. Whatever number it is that you say they actually spend on DEI, you have all the reasons to actually overinflate how much they're spending. So you can make sure that everyone believes they're incompetent because they're spending this much money.
So you're accusing the civil service of hiding the true extent of DEI spending?
No, I'm saying that we have cited a number that an independent think tank has done thorough analysis of. And I'll tweet it out.
Independent think tank. Oh, okay. That only you know about. Okay, that's amazing, that isn't it? So we should just believe your independent think tank that no one knows, no one's aware of that independent think tank. No one knows the background. No one knows whatever incentive that they actually have. We should just trust them. All right, man. All right, sure. We just not believe what the government says. All right.
You might have an agenda. You might have an agenda about DEI yourself.
Look, here's the reality, Lewis. The national budget is 1.2 trillion.
I'll tell you the reality.
The government, this government, as did the case for the Tories, they took the national debt from $1 trillion to 2.8 trillion inside 14 years. They took state spending as a percentage of GDP to Soviet Union levels at one point. Everybody knows that whenever it comes to British people, we're told there's no money left. And the notion that there is no money to cut in a £1.2 trillion budget that has not been scrutinised, that has been overseen by people who have never managed budgets before, is for the birds.
I'm sure there is plenty of money to save. My contention is testing whether you can save £7 billion of DEI, which you've claimed.
£7 billion on DEI. That doesn't even sound realistic. Like, you can't have a budget of 1.2 trillion and then have like 7 billion on DEI. That just sounds insane. That number just doesn't sound believable.
Not exist.
It's being criticized everywhere. It's like, okay, every single page that you go on to actually research this, they've totally invalidated that claim. It's not 7 billion, but at the end of the day, we have to trust their own independent think tank because they have no incentive to make the government look bad, even though they are the opposition, right? Sure.
You've made it up. Look, I'll tell you the exact figures.
Lewis, I'll tell you the exact. We haven't made it up. That is directly from a think tank that has done a thorough analysis.
Your think. Okay, so your think tank will never lie. All right, sure.
Because there's a lot of that is hidden inside Quangos, for example. The Quango budget annually is £320 billion a year.
I'll tell you what central government, let's just take central government. I'll tell you what they spend on it. 18 million for staff costs, supporting 380 full-time DEI roles. That is of a total civil service workforce of over 500,000. 500,000 for staff equality networks and 800,000 for external benchmarking and membership. Those expenditures represent 0.1%.
Lewis, a huge amount of this spending, and I know this because I personally poured over hundreds of responses to freedom of information requests that we put into, for example, for local councils. Huge amounts of this DEI spending is in fact hidden. I'm happy to say that in the form of external.
And only you know. Yeah, sure.
Consultants in the form of consultants who charge the government huge amounts of money, hundreds of millions. And
the problem is, if you accept this now, then you can never ever accept whatever it is that the government actually puts out next time. They are a party of like immigration. Whatever number comes out from the government saying this is the amount of immigrants that came to this country, you can never ever trust that because, they have initiative to lie. So from this point on, these people, they can never trust the government. Whatever it is that the government say it is, they can never trust it because they have an incentive to lie.
Billions of pounds. And by the way, you're going to hear a lot more from us now that we actually do control 10 councils and this stuff can't be obfuscated in the form of selective responses to FOI requests. You'll hear a lot more from us in that
If you get into government and you discover that 7 billion figure is at the very least exaggerated, where does the money come from then? Let's say you could save 3 billion, which I can't see any evidence that you could possibly do so, but let's just hypothetically say you could. Where's the remaining 4 billion coming from?
So, once again, the national budget is 1.2 trillion.
Yes, but you cited DEI. You cited specifically DEI.
Well, you've just asked me a question. In the scenario in which, for example, the savings were only 3 billion or 4 billion in terms of that 7 billion.
You'll find it elsewhere. Do you know where?
Well, there's lots of different places, right? So, number one, as I said, the national Quango budget, right, which are the clues in the name. They are autonomous, right? They are essentially acting without proper scrutiny, from what we can tell. That budget is well north of 320.
Oh my God.
£20 billion a year.
Anyways, you can say it, right? Reform UK, all they do is lie, lie, lie. And then when the government brings out the numbers and it doesn't suit the narrative, they say, oh no, you must be lying. Because you know why? Because it doesn't suit our narrative. So we'll reject that. And then we'll get our own independent think tank that you have no idea about. You have no background on. You don't know if they're lying, if they've been truthful. You don't know even if they have the qualifications for it. We don't even know that. But we just have to believe them. And you guys, whatever number you bring out, we can't believe it. It's actually ridiculous at the moment. But that's just my thoughts on the video. If you like the video, drop a like. It will be massively, massively appreciated. If you're new to the channel, subscribe.